What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 2 of our MLB Postseason Push, where we're going to go over, heading into about the last month of the season, the last 5-6 weeks here, which teams are in the playoff picture, which teams are just outside, looking to make a push into that playoff picture, and just talk all things postseason baseball as the season heads into the home stretch. So let's start in the divisions, because the wild card races have gotten a lot more interesting. A lot of things overall have changed since we last filmed episode 1 3 weeks ago.
A lot of fluctuations.
Let's
start with the AL East. We'll go in same order we did last time.
Yeah.
It's really come down for the division. It's between Tampa Bay and New York.
Yeah, and 3 weeks ago we said it was going to be between Tampa Bay and Boston. And then it was a mixture of Boston slipping up.
Yeah.
And not Tampa Bay, New York absolutely just tearing it up.
Yep.
Went on a huge double-digit game winning streak there. Really helps that they made all those big moves for Andrew Heaney, Joey Gallo, Anthony Rizzo.
They're loaded.
And they have an outside shot at this division. I still think it's Tampa's to lose here. It should be. Tampa's a good enough team to hold off the Yankees, but the Yankees are making things interesting.
Oh, for sure.
We'll get to the Yankees a little more in the wild card race here.
Yeah, for sure. Now, AL Central.
It's locked up.
Pretty clear cut. Chicago. Maybe a favorite for the AL.
Yeah.
As of now.
They could be.
They're just absolute heat.
They are. Yeah.
AL West, Houston, there's a three-headed monster there, but Houston's on top of that. Oakland's kind of pushing. Seattle kind of came out of nowhere, though.
Seattle has been fantastic the past few weeks. In their last 10, they're 7-3 right now, really making what should be a push for a wild card spot. I think Houston is going to be sitting pretty comfortable because Oakland is starting to fade too. So I think Oakland and Seattle, it's more of a battle than we thought. I personally wrote Seattle off in the last in our last episode of this. But they've shocked me. They've battled through injury and really just battled through, I guess, a lot of adversity around the trade deadline. When we covered the trade deadline, a lot of players were unhappy with management, saying that they weren't really pushing for a playoff push. And I think that must have put kind of a fire in their bellies there to really take it upon themselves that if management isn't going to do it, then we're going to do it.
On the field,
Yeah, so, but at the end of the day, Houston should be comfortable in that AL West spot. I feel pretty confident that they're going to take that division.
Now, in the NL East, you have the Atlanta Braves and another team that's surging in the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, this division probably is the one that changed the most. Because when we last filmed, it was New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta. And now Atlanta and New York have flipped spots, and New York's 7 games back. I didn't really think to include anyone else in the conversation when it came to the NL East, because I think the Braves are that good right now. And they're really, it's surprising because Ronald Acuna isn't there, who was the front runner in my opinion for NL MVP. But they're finding ways to win right now. I will say, when we break down the schedules of especially the wild card teams and what teams need to do, it's going to be interesting because the Phillies do have a little more of a favorable schedule here, so they could make a push for that division. But I think the Braves should be able to have it in the East. But again, things changed in the 3 weeks there. I thought the Mets were going to take that division, and now the Mets might not even be in the playoffs, so we'll see.
Yes, sir. So we have the NL Central next, and it's pretty clear cut. Looks like it's Milwaukee. Yeah,
just like the AL Central with the White Sox, Milwaukee's got a strong hold. And it's a little surprising because the Cincinnati Reds have gone on a huge push. They've been one of the hottest teams in baseball the past couple weeks. But Milwaukee's has been just as good to make sure that they've even separated the gap. I believe it was 7 games between them and Cincinnati. And with Cincinnati playing so well, Milwaukee's found a way to up that 2.5 games. So they have a 9.5 game lead there. I expect Milwaukee to comfortably win this division, and they will be a huge threat in the National League in the playoffs.
Definitely. Now, NL West, the Padres have kind of fallen off this list. It's between the Dodgers and Giants at this point.
It really is. And the Dodgers, of course, they made a lot of illustrious moves, trading for Trey Turner, trading for Max Scherzer. So they're really going for it. But with that all-star lineup, the San Francisco Giants, who a lot of people had their doubts about before the year, are still the best team in baseball. Highly rated in terms of their bullpen, their rotation. They went out and got Chris Bryant to help that lineup. So this is a team that I thought the Dodgers had what it took to take over San Francisco in the West. I'm not so sure anymore.
The Giants just aren't giving it up.
No, and I think the Dodgers are capable of doing it. I think their lineup on paper is better than the Giants. But at the end of the day, the game's not played on paper, and San Francisco's proved that.
And they've had it since the top. But this season, they came out stronger, and the Dodgers just never caught up, and the Giants never slowed down. So
no.
There's not much you can expect out of LA right now.
But 2.5 games, they do play several games against each other during the last stretch.
They have their shot.
Those will be important for the Dodgers to win those games against San Francisco if they want to move up.
Yeah. So let's now talk about the wild card.
Yeah.
Yankees, Red Sox lead the charge, but Oakland, Seattle, not too far behind, and Toronto still is a dark horse.
Yeah. I kind of tried to go... When I was thinking of where to go with this conversation, it was going to be who's within 5 games of the wild card spot, because I think that's the number that is attainable within the past 30 some odd games that are left in the season.
With things wrapping up, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and then you have to think of what other teams do you have to jump. So I think for the most part here, there's 3 teams on the outside looking in the wild card conversation in both the AL and the NL.
Yeah.
And all are within 5 games there. So in terms of, I expect the Yankees to take that top wild card spot here.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting if the Red Sox can hold on. The Red Sox have a decently tough schedule.
Yeah.
They've got 7 games against Tampa Bay. They've got 3 games against Seattle, 3 games against the White Sox, 3 games against the Yankees, and they've got a couple games against the Mets too, which could be interesting.
Yeah.
But they've got a tougher schedule, whereas the Yankee schedule isn't easy themselves, but the Yankees have also proved that they can beat these teams, and the Yankees look like one of the powerhouses in the American League right now.
Yeah.
So in terms of Oakland, their remaining schedule features 3 games against the Yankees, 3 games against Toronto, 3 games against the White Sox, 7 games against Seattle, 6 games against Houston. So that's going to be really hard for Oakland.
And 3 games against Detroit, though.
And this is Oakland without their best starter.
Yeah.
Without their best starter in Chris Bassett, obviously multiple facial fractures after getting that scary pitch to the face last week. So they're a team that there's a lot of question marks around them of whether they have it and whether they can find it to make the play or to make the postseason here. So, and then Seattle, I think they've got a decent schedule to make a push and to continue their strong push here for the wild card. 6 games against Kansas City.
Yeah.
6 games against Arizona. 6 games against the Angels. They do have to play 7 against Oakland. And 6 against Houston. The 7 against Oakland will be key. If they can take a lot of those, that's a team that they can jump.
Yep.
And that's kind of the team that's standing in between them and being that outside looking in at Boston.
Yep.
That 3-game series against Boston is going to be huge as well.
Oh, for sure.
And then, of course, we've got a lot of Jays fans watching this. The Jays' remaining schedule, there is hope.
Definitely, yeah.
With 10 games against Baltimore, the worst team in baseball.
Yep.
7 games against Minnesota, one of the worst teams in baseball. 3 games against Detroit, albeit they didn't play that well this past weekend against Detroit. Hopefully they can change things when they go into Detroit to play those games.
Yep.
3 games against Oakland, those will be huge games to another team that they have to leapfrog. The 7 games against the Yankees and the 6 games against the Rays will be tough, so they have to make sure they make the most of the easier opponents.
Yep. So let's take on the NL wildcard race right now. You have the Dodgers on top.
Yep.
The Reds far behind. The Dodgers kind of have that first wild card locked down.
It's a battle for the second wild card spot.
So that battle includes Cincinnati, San Diego, St. Louis, and Philadelphia. But to me, as of now, it's really between Cincinnati and San Diego.
Yeah, and of course Cincinnati has, in terms the easier schedule. Yes, they'll have to play a team like Milwaukee, but they also get to play the Cubs and the Pirates as well.
Yep.
So in terms of the remaining schedules there, Cincinnati, 3 games against Miami, 3 games against Detroit, 3 games against the Cubs, 9 games against the bottom 3 Pirates.
Yeah.
4 games against the Nationals. So an easier schedule there. They still have to play the Dodgers, a couple games against the White Sox, 6 games against St. Louis, which that'll be key for both St. Louis and Cincinnati to make sure that they can try to either separate themselves from each other, or in St. Louis's case, try to gain some space on Cincinnati right now. San Diego's just 1 game behind them right now.
Yeah.
We kind of thought 3 weeks ago the wild card race was all but wrapped up, but San Diego's been struggling.
Yeah,
struggling mightily.
They've dropped the ball so far,
and it doesn't look overly promising down the stretch here. They got 10 games against San Francisco and 6 games against the Dodgers, not to mention 3 games against Houston and 4 games against Atlanta, 3 games against St. Louis. All teams that are either in the postseason picture or just on the outside looking in.
They really needed to get the early wins here.
They did.
Again, they're strong enough to get the job done, but it's not looking too good in San Diego right now.
There's only a handful of teams that are capable of making the most of a tough schedule like that, and the Padres have to be included in that.
Yep.
But they just have to go out and do it, and that's something they haven't been able to do the past couple weeks.
For sure.
And then moving to St. Louis there, they sit 3.5 games out from Cincinnati there, 2.5 back from San Diego.
Yeah.
St. Louis, it's a mixed bag of a schedule here. It's a little tougher. They do have those 3 games against Pittsburgh, 7 games against Chicago. That'll be key.
Yep.
A couple games against a struggling Mets team right now that could be promising to them. But they have to play Cincinnati 6 times. They have to play Milwaukee 10 times, the Dodgers 4 times, and the Padres 3 times.
But they have their shot to...
They do have a shot, and it's not that far of a distance right now. So, again, those series against San Diego are going to be key. Cincinnati, those are going to be key series there. They've got a tougher schedule, but they could make it happen too. They have a talented roster themselves.
Yeah.
And then Philadelphia, who I think has one of the easier rosters out of any team looking to make the playoffs right now. They've got 3 games against Arizona, 3 games against Washington, 6 games against Miami, 4 games against Colorado, 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Mets, 3 against Baltimore, 4 against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy schedule.
There's really only 6 games that could be dicey for them, that you could risk a sweep with Milwaukee and Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Atlanta one will be key if they want to move into not have to worry about
wild card.
The shadiness that is a 1-game wild card. If they want that sure thing, they're gonna have to come up big against Atlanta. But they've got a schedule that makes it, even though they're 5 games back of both the NL East and the NL wild card right now, it's one of those things that they could make it happen.
A couple lucky bounces. I mean, the season wrapping up, it's still far from over.
Yeah, for sure.
Now's the time to definitely tune in and see how these things play out, because it's going like how we see things now outside of the Dodgers being in their wild card spot, and even all around, there's going to be a lot of movement.
Yeah, other than that first NL wild card spot and the 2 Central Division titles.
Yep.
Everything's still up for grabs here.
Yeah, for sure.
We have our hunches of what's going to happen here, but this is...
San Diego can drop off. Any team's vulnerable at this point.
Exactly.
Except for the 3 teams we mentioned.
Yeah. So it'll be super exciting if, the past 3 weeks have been this exciting. I can't wait to see what the next 5 to 6 weeks have in store here. So we'll make sure we'll have another postseason push episode just before the playoffs here to get you set. And of course, we'll have all the playoff coverage as well. So we will keep you updated as things update in the final stretch of the regular season.
Probably every Sunday
probably every Sunday, so make sure to look for those baseball videos. And with that, that'll do it for episode 2 of our MLB Postseason Push video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a like down below. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our other uploads. Like we said, look out for a baseball video every Sunday to keep you informed of what's going on in the final stretch of the regular season. Comment down below what matchups you're looking forward to in the final stretch of the season here, who you think's going to make the playoffs. And with that, we will see you in the next video. Peace.